Hello there, YouTube. It is your boy B3 back with another kicking graphic novel review. We are continuing with more weird DC comics. And today we are looking at one that's a bit newer than some of the other ones we've been talking about, Task Force Z. Yes, you might recognize that as an extension of Task Force X, which is the Suicide Squad. Task Force X is its official government name. But this is Task Force Z. And the Z stands for zombie. This is one of the books that I think DC tried to use to hop on the monster craze, because, Marvel had just done some incredible stuff with Venom and the Immortal Hulk, Donny Cates and Al Ewing, respectively. And DC was really trying to get in on that monster stuff. Plus, monsters are just popular in general right now. Godzilla Minus One winning an Oscar, GXK being the highest grossing Godzilla film, and at the time of recording this, the second highest grossing film of 2024. I'm recording this before Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes out. Keep that in mind, like 2 days before. So keep that in mind. I'm recording this way before it's up, I know. But Task Force Z, it's actually got a full title. Task Force Z Volume 1 Death's Door from 2021. Okay, I actually just read it yesterday, which is a lot sooner than I usually do these. But I just really wanted some Red Hood. I really, really wanted just to read some Red Hood. And he's the leader of the team. Don't worry, he's not a zombie. He's alive. It's a team of zombies led by Red Hood, and if they do a good enough job, the zombies get brought back to life. But the zombies are all like dead villains, or at the very least dead antagonists. Some of them definitely aren't evil. But there's a couple books that kind of lead into Task Force Z. There is a reporter who I think is actually kind of dope. Her name is Donovan, and she's really cool. She's going around trying to uncover this story that Red Hood kind of slipped into her pocket. Batman told her not to follow it. Vicky Vale was like, shit, if Batman told you not to follow it, you probably shouldn't. But the Red Hood wants her to report on it. And sadly, the Red Hood gets beaten and captured. Fully arrested. Also, I've noticed this recently. Jason Todd's identity is pretty much known by, like, everybody. Does it not seem that way these days? Pretty much everyone knows who Jason Todd is, but so few characters have been able to actually make the connection between him and Batman, even though he was Bruce Wayne's ward? No one's putting these pieces together. But, like, the government fully knows who Jason Todd and Red Hood are. A lot of villains fully know his name. And it's just like they're not putting the puzzle pieces together, even though they're the last two in the puzzle. There's one piece left, and the villains just aren't putting it fucking together. But Red Hood is given a choice. He can go to federal prison, where he'll probably be on the Suicide Squad anyway, or he can work with Task Force Z. Very fun. Also, Crazy Quilt is in this. Can you believe that? He's the first person they capture. He escaped Arkham before it got gassed on 8A. And he's working with a lot of zombie characters. Man-Bat, for instance, is one of them. Okay, Man-Bat. That works out. Bane is the second one. Bane, who very recently killed Alfred Pennyworth at this point. And Jason has to work alongside him. Yeah, it's rough. There's also the Arkham Knight. She's been brought back. Pretty cool. I haven't read the Detective Comics, actually, with her, which I regret. I should have read it a while ago. But I haven't. And then I opened up a Future State comic, and she was just fully in it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that spoils the Detective Comics for me, so I just haven't been in a rush to read it. But she is one of them as well. And there's also these, like, clones of the Resurrection Man, but they're ladies, and they're scientists. It's odd. Also, they're working with Bloom. Do you remember Bloom from Batman Super Heavy? Towards the end of the New 52 when Jim Gordon was Batman? I always thought that Bloom, and really that entire story as a whole, Jim Gordon's time as Batman, penned by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, it was good. People didn't like how the Rookie suit looked, and people still think when they kill off Batman, they're going to do it for a while. I mean, he came back in what felt like, 2 trades? Come on. When they kill Batman, he'll be right back. It's fucking Batman. He's not staying dead forever, or even really for a long amount of time. I mean, come on. The Black Hand killed him, he came right back. Darkseid killed him, he came right back. Fucking died with Joker in Endgame, he came right back. It's fucking... People are always so mad when they kill him, and it's like, he's coming right fucking back. You idiots. It's Corporate Comics. Corporate Comics' biggest character, arguably. Come the fuck on. Come the fuck on. And I mean, this book is a testament to villains not dying and stuff, and heroes not dying. Because they get brought back with this Lazarus resin, which is used with like Lazarus Pit, and there's maybe some venom in it, and also the Resurrection Man's blood, which is technically revealed in the next volume. I'm mentioning things in the next volume, I'm sorry. Any mention of Resurrection Man is next volume. But Bloom is in this, and he's not dead, he's not a zombie, he's just given a power collar, and he's kind of doing more of a Suicide Squad type thing. He's like, hey, I'm a scientist that knows a lot about the Lazarus resin and can work with it, but can also be kind of helpful in the field because I do have superpowers. And he's like, I'm just trying to make amends, which he's not, right? Like, we know he's not. I mean, I know he's not a big villain, and it's easier to reform villains that aren't big, like Pied Piper and whatnot. But I'm glad he wasn't being reformed, because I thought he was a really underrated villain, and it's nice to see him working. Plus, he has a power-dampening collar on, because his powers are kind of insane, and he'd be very, very dangerous without it. So he's always trying to trick people into taking it off of him throughout this book. But they fight Mr. Freeze, Task Force Z style. And all their missions do not go well, because as the Lazarus resin goes out of their system, they start to devolve into brain-eating zombies, and then eventually they'll just collapse and start decomposing again. But when they do something right, they get a little resin, which keeps them alive, and if they do enough missions well enough, then they can get enough resin to fully come back to life. Very cool. But yeah, the Arkham Knight almost eats Red Hood. And it's actually beautifully drawn. This is a beautifully drawn book. The colors are crazy. I love them. They're so vibrant, but also they let it be dark when it needs to be dark. And there's a lot of good shading. It's a great looking book. Great looking book. Also, I really like the tone of it. It's like... It's hard to describe. I thought it was going to be like a really dark, depressing book going into it. It's not. It's like a good balance of like some lighthearted dialogue and action, but also with the darker stuff and more serious moments. The tone of this book is so well balanced with all the different things it's doing. I'm actually really impressed by it. At first I was like, oh, there's a lot more jokes in this than I thought there'd be. But it's balanced really well. So I want to tell the MCU this is how you balance like action and serious moments in comedy. Really cool. But they have to fight Cobra. And then there's this character called Sundowner. It's this magical vampire-esque being living in this immortal woman. And when she's in the light, she's just a human. When she's in the dark, the immortal being comes out and kills everyone in sight. So she's kind of a last resort member of the team. But they do resurrect Deadshot. I knew he was dead. I didn't know he was going to be resurrected in this book, though. But I did know that he was very much dead. And they kind of manipulate Jason into staying with the team, because Jason feels like he's there against his will, but he's not. They're like, yeah, you can leave at any time, Jason. You will be sent to federal prison if you do. That is the choice you have to make. You're going straight to prison. Bell Rev has a cell for you if you leave here. But you have the choice to leave. But he sort of does, but he sort of doesn't. You know. Plus, I think Red Hood could probably get out of there eventually. Oh well. Anyhow, they continue their missions. They fight Cheshire, and they're stealing all this Lazarus that's on the, like, seemingly on the drug market. And then it turns out the guy leading the team, he's been this shadowy figure this whole time, always backlit so no one can see his face. It's Two-Face. It's Harvey Dent. But Dent is in control. He's been in control of Two-Face for a while. So he's trying to run it and get redemption. And he's like, look, they're not going to let me fucking work with the police anymore. This clandestine government stuff is the only thing I can do. And he's a tricky little motherfucker. But it is nice seeing Harvey Dent do stuff. But then we find out that Red Hood actually took this assignment on the behest of Batman. Batman was like, I want you to go in here and report back to me. And Red Hood, did. But then Batman was like, all right, I'm pulling you out. And of course, Jason was not cool with that. He was like, no, I'm going to fucking stay. Fuck you. And, yeah. But, you know, the twist that Batman intentionally had him put in there, I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit when it happened. I was like, I've seen this before with Batman. I'm sure of it. This is so in character for him. And the thing about Batman and Jason is they argue a lot. Batman's like, Jason, this is what's wrong with you. And Jason's like, well, guess what, Batman? This is what's wrong with you. And the crazy thing is, they're both right. Batman is accurate about all of Jason's flaws. And Jason is also accurate about all of Batman's. But neither of them will listen to each other and become better. They're both equally stubborn because they're both so much alike, despite the fact that they think they're so goddamn different. That's why their relationship is so fucking compelling. Oh my god, it really, really is wonderful. So then Amanda Waller, the Wall herself, shows up. And her dialogue in both volumes of Task Force Z is great. God, the Wall is so cool. But she shuts him down. She's like, Harvey, this is not working. This is fucked. I'm shutting you down. Bye-bye. So long. Thanks for all the fish. But then they go and they find the source of all these shipments of Lazarus resin before they're shut down. And it turns out that all this Lazarus resin is coming from Powers Incorporated, which is the company that made Jim Gordon Batman after the other Batman, quote-unquote, died. They're making the Lazarus resin. And then, like, a Suicide Squad shows up. So there's three people, there's three, like, factions here, and none of them know who each other are, it seems. And they're all like, you're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. And Red Hood's trying to calm everyone down, but KG Beast ain't gonna let that happen. That's right, KG Beast is here. But it turns out that Bloom has been manipulating every side. He's manipulating everybody. Every single person. And it's not going well for everyone else. For Bloom, things are great. Really great. Not for everyone else. And, you know, Bloom is kind of like convincing Powers to let him work on Lazarus resin and stuff for her again. KG Beast is going to kill Red Hood and re-kill Deadshot. There's so many things going on. But then, this other task force, this Task Force X, is killed, and Harvey Dent brings them back to life to work for him. So he's still operating Task Force Z, even though Waller and the government really tried to shut him down. So they've kind of gone rogue. Batman tries to take him down too. It's really nasty business. We start to get flashbacks to Harvey Dent creating Task Force Z, and then the volume ends. So yeah, the story isn't concluded, but that's good. The whole run is 2 volumes, and it's one big story, which I think is nice. I think it's really nice, actually. Quite factually. And I just realized that I don't think I read the back of the book to you guys, and I usually do that. So here it is. They are Task Force Z, and death was just the beginning. In life, they terrorized the people of Gotham. Now they're Gotham's last hope. It's Suicide Squad meets zombies, with Red Hood leading the way. Task Force X saw villains working their way to freedom. Task Force Z will see dead villains working their way to a new chance at life. On A-Day, an attack on Arkham Asylum left hundreds of Gotham's most cunning and dangerous criminals dead. Now a mysterious benefactor has activated the government's task force clause to bring them back as the ultimate army of the night. To lead this team of the undead, only a person who knows exactly what it feels like to be brutally murdered and brought back to life can handle the job. Enter Red Hood. But when Jason Todd unravels the mystery surrounding Task Force Z's creation, will he try to destroy it? Or embrace it? This volume collects Task Force Z 1 through 6 and the Task Force Z short stories from Detective Comics 1041 through 1043. Very cool. And it is by Matthew Rosenberg and Eddie Barrows, who worked on Batman Urban Legends and Detective Comics, Ember Ferreira from Superman, Jack Herbert from Action Comics, and Derek Robertson from Batman Arkham Unhinged, and more, including variant covers and artist sketches in the back. Very cool Volume 1. Very fun, well-balanced, well-paced story. The pacing gets a little off in the next volume, with a lot of flashbacks going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But it's a really enjoyable book, and I recommend it for Suicide Squad fans, Red Hood fans, and just fans of cool comics. So that's it. Thank you once again. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.